and that is Donald Trump and a potential indictment. First of all, why is the former president potentially going to be indicted?
So this case is connected to payments that were made to adult film star Stormy Daniels in the lead up to the 2016 presidential election. His former personal lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, paid Daniels $130,000. And I say this definitively because Cohen pleaded guilty to a federal case related to this deal in 2018. He paid her this $130,000 in exchange for her silence about this alleged affair that she claims to have had with Trump in 2016 when he had been married to Melania Trump for about a year, and she had just given birth to their first son during this time. So the reason that Trump is under investigation is because federal prosecutors determined in 2018, as they were prosecuting Cohen, that the payments essentially constituted a violation of campaign finance laws because they were made with the intent to sway the results of the 2016 presidential election. And what's more is the payments, Cohen was reimbursed for this $130,000, which he made out of a home equity line of credit to Daniels through the Trump organization. The Trump organization reimbursed him under a contract that falsely specified, according to federal prosecutors, again, that these payments were made for legal fees. So really what the Manhattan DA is probing is, what did Trump know about the payments and how did he have a role in potentially orchestrating this false contract? And the charge that he is most likely to face would be falsifying business records, which is a misdemeanor. And in order to elevate that to a felony, prosecutors need to prove that he also intended to commit another crime or did commit another crime. And that second crime is likely to be a violation of campaign finance laws.
Sarah, Trump wrote on Truth Social over the weekend that he was going to be arrested on Tuesday. Right now, as we sit, it is Tuesday evening and there has not been news of an arrest. When can we expect the potential indictment and arrest?
So the grand jury that is examining the evidence against Trump that prosecutors have collected, over the past 3+ years in their investigation meets on Mondays and Wednesdays only. Tomorrow, they are reportedly interviewing a final witness in the case, and they could choose to vote on an indictment tomorrow. But even if they do vote on the indictment tomorrow, first of all, this might not be publicized. It's likely to be leaked in the media, but the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, because the case is under seal, would not publicize this. And what's more is his arrest would likely come, days or even weeks later, and he would most likely surrender himself to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office rather than be, extradited from Florida or taken in handcuffs and, as we call it in the media, perp walked into the courthouse. That's unlikely to happen. He's most likely to voluntarily submit himself to an arrest. He will be fingerprinted. He will have his mugshot taken, which also, just in accordance with law enforcement practices in New York, mugshots are not routinely publicized. So that would also have to be leaked to the media. So, the arrest could come as soon as tomorrow, but it's more likely to happen in a matter of days or weeks following the indictment.
Sarah, give us a temperature check here. How bad is this? You said the potential charge is a misdemeanor, could be elevated to a felony. Does he face potential jail time here?
He does face potential jail time. I believe it's up to a year in jail for the misdemeanor charge. And if it is elevated to a felony, then the maximum sentence is 4 years in jail. What's really interesting, this case is unlikely to go to trial, just given the historical precedent of the Manhattan Criminal Court and how how long it typically takes them to bring cases to trial. So it's unlikely to be any less than a year. And, that could be after he secures the GOP nomination or even after he is reelected president, which, we're already potentially going to see something unprecedented here with the indictment of a former president and sitting president facing a criminal trial would just be even more wild and unprecedented.
We're talking about something historic. We're talking about something really completely unprecedented. So to even bring this on, do prosecutors think they have a slam dunk here? What are the challenges they're facing?
So, according to legal experts, many of whom have opined in media reports about this case and the legal footing that it stands on, falsification of business records, which is the main charge that prosecutors are investigating, is a misdemeanor. And in order to elevate this to a felony level, as I mentioned earlier, prosecutors would have to tie it to a second crime or the intent to commit a second crime. What adds in another tricky layer there is this second crime is likely to be a violation of campaign finance laws. However, this is a state court, and in Cohen's case, he was convicted of federal campaign finance violations. Obviously, this is a federal election. So there are really two layers to this case that complicate things. And I would say the third thing is that prosecutors have to clearly prove that Trump knew about these illegal payments, that he helped arrange them, that he had a role in drafting this, what federal prosecutors say is a false contract, and that Cohen was not just, operating on Trump's behalf without his knowledge. As I'm sure he often did in the many years that was his main job responsibility is, to help Trump. So yes, it's a lot of, as I mentioned, tricky legal layers to this, and Trump's allies and attorneys are certainly mentioning that in their defense of him. And another thing, the statute of limitations are typically 5 years for a crime like this in New York, and it's been 7 years since the payments were allegedly made. Though there are some legal loopholes that prosecutors can work around to extend the statute or get around the statute of limitations.